حول أطر التي تحكم العلاقات الثنائية بين الجانبين المصري والأوروبي، وتوافقنا على ضرورة التنفيذ الكامل والأمين للمحاور
for the 6 axes that covers the strategic agreement that was signed years ago. This strategic includes boosting economic affairs between both countries, also the axis concerning the immigration and fighting immigration, and also the axes, other axes also, with the security cooperation and the cooperation in the field of water, which is a very important thing for Egypt, and also the cooperation in the field of science and culture, and the exchange of this field between Egypt and European countries, between the two sides. Concerning the first axis that is concerning the negotiations in the field of politics, we have discussed on holding the second summit between Egypt and the EU. We hope during this year. That what we have settled on and agreed on. We are going to make this summit between Egypt and Brussels every 2 years. We also discussed the trade and the exchange of trade and investment, and attracting investment and companies, European countries, to the Egyptian market. And all the facilities that the Egyptian state is taking in order to facilitate the investing in Egypt. Also, we discussed facilitations concerning the taxes and tariffs that the Egyptian parliament have discussed. Also, we discussed facilitations concerning the procedures, facilitation of procedures in several fields, and we discussed the investment and trade conference that was attended by President Abdelatty al-Sisi and Mrs. von der Leyen, and we want to build on this and make the second edition between Egypt and the European Union. We spoke of the investment in specific fields, especially in the energy and clean energy and the new energy and renewable energy. Also cooperation in food and commodities, because Egypt is keen on localization of industry here, the logistics of and digitalization of the Egyptian state, and implementation of artificial intelligence in Egypt. And we spoke about several axes, especially in technology and culture and science, and it's very important as Egypt have joined frames that is included in the European Union and the information technology, and also involving and attracting the specialists in these fields, and also the program of Erasmus Plus, the new one. We discussed the defense and immigration and illegal immigration, and she said that the European Union appreciates Egypt's efforts concerning elimination of the illegal immigration, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's keenness on this file, and the efforts exerted by Egypt in this field. But there are several loads
على الأراضي المصرية لابد من الدعم، ولا بد من معالجة هذه المشكلة من جذورها، ولا بد من دعم السلطات والحكومة المصرية في تحمل الأعباء الكبيرة نتيجة لاستضافة هذا العدد الكبير من اللاجئين. وأكدت أيضا على أهمية المحور الخاص بتنمية رأس المال البشري والدخول كما ذكرت في شراكات علمية وثقافية وتعليمية مع الاتحاد الأوروبي على ضوء ما يمتلكه الجانبان من إمكانات في هذا الصدد. وكما ذكرت قضية المياه قضية وجودية تحدثنا، هي أحد محاور التعاون في مجال الشراكة الاستراتيجية والشاملة بين مصر والاتحاد الأوروبي، وهناك التزام أوروبي بدعم أمن مصر المائي. وأحط المفاوضة علما ب
the importance of the issue of water for Egypt, and after 13 years of negotiations concerning also we have spoken about the Mediterranean, and this is going to be in coordination between Egypt and the Mediterranean and South and North Africa, and the importance of discussing concerning the South Mediterranean, and the speaking of and within the framework of these countries and the Mediterranean countries. And I have stressed that this and the implementing of the partnership between Egypt and the European Union, and also we have spoken today and the EU Commissioner for Mediterranean Affairs has spoken with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and also boosting partnership and the cooperation in the field of trade in order to fill the gap between exporting and importing, also bringing the Egyptian commodities to the European market, so boosting European countries investing, also the quick also and as you know, concerning the loans, we have received the the European Parliament to make quick affairs concerning the second phase of the loan that is going to be provided to Egypt. In March, we discussed also how to make benefit from investment of Europe that made more than €1 billion for boosting the investments to encourage the investments and the companies to invest in Egypt. And now we are working on this plan. We discussed also the cooperation, as I've just mentioned, in the energy, clean energy, green energy, and renewable energy and new energy. And Egypt is a hub for this and for providing and we discussed concerning the cooperation and the linkage of electricity between Egypt and the energy of the wind to be exported to Europe with cables, electronic cables under the water of the Mediterranean. So this is one of the very important projects. And there is also another line that we are discussing to link Europe with Italy with the same idea. We discussed immigration and the legal migration, not the illegal, and how to benefit also how the European Union could benefit from the technology and doctors and concerning the seasonal migration, and that would go to the European countries to stay there for 2 years only and then come back to Egypt in order to give their experience and at the same time take experience from these societies. We also spoke about the Palestinian cause and the situation in the enclave and the West Bank and also Sudan, Libya and Syria and the Renaissance Dam and Lebanon and in the Red Sea. And I have informed the EU Commissioner for the Mediterranean Affairs of what we are expecting from the support of the European Union. And also we spoke about the exchange of hostages and also the entering of also there's a deal for a ceasefire that have 3 phases. We have finished the first phase and we have to enter in the second phase, negotiations for the second phase, and not to stop here. So we have stressed on the plan of Egypt, Arab Egypt and Islamic, that is going to be implemented in reconstructing Gaza without the relocation of Gazans and or leaving their lands. We spoke of the importance of political vision that supports the implementation of Palestinian state that is going to make sure that this aggression is not going to be repeated. So we spoke of this also. This is not the only thing that is, if there is not a political vision, so that's and if there's not a Palestinian state, there would never be stability in the region or safety and security for the Palestinian and the other side. We spoke of the importance of UNRWA and the efforts it's making, and also the situation in Syria, and also fighting terrorism. And I have
تحت أي ذريعة وتحت أي مبرر حتى ولو كان لذرائع لحماية حقوق أقليات بعينها.
Also the rights of the Syrians and the right to live in integration of lands without division. And also we spoke of Lebanon and implementation of 1701 resolution that should be implemented. Also we spoke of Sudan and the importance of integration of Sudan and preserving the institutions of the state. Also we spoke of Libya and the importance of holding parliamentary elections and presidential elections, and integration of the institutions there. Again, I welcome EU Commissioner for Mediterranean Affairs, and we stress on the importance, our keenness for cooperation and deep relations. And thank you so much. I leave the word for you.
After such a lengthy elaboration, there is nothing left.
إذن قد شرحت كل شيء ولا يوجد أي شيء باقي لي لكي أقوله.
Dear Minister Abdelatty, it's a great pleasure to be here today in Egypt in this special month of Ramadan. So it is for me a real pleasure and a privilege. I would like to express my gratitude for your kind hospitality and for productive meetings during my stay here. As you know, Egypt is a strategic partner for the European Union, and your country plays a crucial role in ensuring lasting stability and peace in this region, and this is for us very important. As you know, you said a lot about strategic and comprehensive partnership, which we signed last year, and there is a lot to say about macro-financial assistance and about strategic and comprehensive partnership agreement. We remain fully committed in implementing the partnership support towards economic prosperity, advancing an ambitious reform agenda which you have, and fostering long-term well-being for the citizens of Egypt. Fundamental values and shared strategic interests are central to our cooperation. We worked a lot since last March, first of all on EU-Egypt Investment Conference, which was in June last year, and at that time the conference led to signing of 30 different agreements worth of total almost 50 billion euros, 49 million euros. And this is showing the strength of our economic ties and what we can achieve when we work together. The agreement on the Memorandum of Understanding, which you mentioned, for 1 billion euros of macro-financial assistance was disbursed in last September. In this December, this December, and we are continuing to work to reinforce our support through even more macro-financial assistance package, which is worth 4 billion euros. You mentioned also 1.8 billion additional investments under the European Fund of Sustainability and Sustainable Development Plus until 2027. And as it is also part of the package announced last year in close cooperation with the private sector. What we want to do, we want to ensure that there is a continued progress that will unlock both public and private investments. We heard a lot today, and we do appreciate what Egypt and what you have been doing here on this track. So this will, as you know, help modernizing Egypt's economy and society as a whole. We have also agreed to strengthen our high-level political engagement. In this regard, there will be European Union Egypt at the presidential level this year. And this will be also crucial in order to highlight the achievements of our partnership and to chart our shared values vision for the future. There is, of course, a lot to explore in order to have the full potential of our partnership with Egypt and the wider Mediterranean region. You mentioned New Pact for the Mediterranean. New Pact for the Mediterranean is one of the main basic documents in my portfolio, and what I want to do is to design it together with you. What I'm doing now, I'm touring Mediterranean, trying to inform partners and trying to listen to partners to see what would you like to see in this new pact for Mediterranean, because we think it is important, and our approach, as I said, will be inclusive, and our approach is inclusive, and we want to be responsive to the needs of our partners. Of course, we want to listen to your priorities. This is very important. This is what I also mentioned this morning during the meeting with your president, and President also appreciated what we have been doing together, and I think that we can do a lot also in the region. Without Egypt, the peace and stability of the region is impossible. So we need Egypt in order to engage, and this is what you have been doing all the time. So I want to thank you. It's not only about Egypt's economy and prosperity, but it's also about the whole region. So you are mediating the situation in the Middle East and together with Gulf countries, and this is very important for what you are doing for the reconstruction of Gaza. So we are looking forward to this, and let's see how this plan will develop. Of course, as you know, we support Gaza's reconstruction, we support Palestinian Authority, we support two-state solution, and this is what we are looking forward to. Of course, the situation is also complex in the whole region. It's not only Gaza and Israel and Palestine and Israel, but it's also about Lebanon, as you rightly mentioned. It's also about Syria. It's also about Libya. So let's see how we can work on this together, because, as I said, Egypt is a key and crucial partner in all this. There is much more to say, but since you have said a lot, I don't want to bother the audience, but if you have some questions, I'm open to reply.
شكرا. نفتح المجال للأسئلة. الأستاذة سارة شلقاني من الدستور، اتفضلي.
شلقاني from الدستور. My question is for His Excellency Minister Abdelatty. I have two questions actually, sir. Since yesterday we're hearing about new suggestions about the second phase of the ceasefire. When after the finalization of the first phase, how Egypt perceived the commitment of all the parties regarding the implementation of this agreement, and how Cairo pushes the parties to commit towards the implementation of the second phase. My second question is about the European role to support the Egypt vision. We see in the statements issued by European Union officials that they are convinced with the Egyptian vision towards the reconstruction of Gaza without the displacement of its people. How can this be done, and if there are any mechanisms to agree upon to at least implement the early recovery program? Thank you so much. As for the first question, as I mentioned, we stress on the importance of the full and honest implementation of what has been signed last month. or last January, an agreement has been signed with an effective roles played by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States. What we would like to emphasize here is the implementation process. If the first phase is finalized, we need to start discussing and negotiating about the second phase. It's very important at the end of the day to guarantee the sustainability of the ceasefire agreement in a manner allowing the release of all the hostages and part of the Palestinian prisoners or detainees with full access to the humanitarian and medical supply and aid. This is very important, and we will save no effort to do this. Delegations are coming here, and we are coordinating with the Qatari and the American sides. We will continue our intensified efforts to guarantee the sustainability of the ceasefire agreement and to start negotiating about the second phase. As for the European role, it's a very important role. Europe is a strategic partner of ours. It's our partner in relation to everything about the Palestinian cause. Let's not forget that the European Union is the first donor to the Palestinian Authority. We depend on the European role, not only the economic role, but also the political role when it comes to practicing the maximum level of pressure on the different parties, especially the Israeli party, in relation to their commitment towards the ceasefire implementation. We finalized the first phase successfully despite of all the difficulties, but with the vital Egyptian role and in cooperation with our brothers in Qatar and with our friends in the U.S. administration, we managed to implement the first phase successfully despite of all the difficulties. But with determination and will, we managed to implement this phase. But now we have to move towards negotiating about the second phase. It's going to be hard, of course, but if there is goodwill and political will, definitely this can be doable. Actually, we can agree on the second phase and work on implementing it until we reach the third phase, and to achieve sustainability of the ceasefire, until we talk about the political horizon, and to have a credible political process that leads to the establishment of the Palestinian state, because without the establishment of the Palestinian state, there will be no stability or security. That's why the European role is very important in both the political side and the economic side. We're talking about the plan to be approved in relation to the reconstruction. Of course, we are interacting with the European side, and there will be intensified sessions with the big donor countries when the plan is approved by the summit the day after tomorrow. There will be communication with all the parties to inform them about the content and the main features of this plan. There will be visits to the different capitals to explain this plan and to mobilize support for this plan, because it's not an Egyptian plan or an Arab plan or an Islamic plan, but it will be an internationally supported plan, so it can be implemented. After the Arab Summit, we have an emergency ministerial meeting in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at the level of the Organization of Islamic Organization or Islamic Cooperation at the level of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, so the plan would be approved. Another question, Mr. Tamer Nasrat from Al Arabiya. I have two questions. A question for His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and another question is for the Commissioner of the European Union. Excellency Minister, as for the second phase, what are the updates regarding the negotiations about the second phase in the light of the U.S. suggestions that appeared yesterday, and what is Cairo's comment on the stop of the supply entry. Actually, the aid stopped entering, and now, Ms. Swita, of course, you knew about the Egyptian or the Arab plan for the reconstruction. Do we expect an engagement from the European Union from the very beginning in this plan because of the dire need to this plan in Gaza, or you will commit to previous stances that you announced before regarding that Hamas should come out of the whole scene before the European Union is engaged in this plan? Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm aware of Egyptian plan for reconstruction. Of course, we are waiting for the Arab summit, as already said, to see how whether it is plausible or not. But we hope it is. Of course, for us, we are engaged. We will be engaged. We have been engaged all the time, and this is part of my portfolio: early reconstruction of Gaza. On Hamas, we are clear. Hamas is not interlocutor for us. We look at them as terrorist organizations. So for us, Palestine Authority is interlocutor, and this is why we are investing money in multi-annual reform program. So they have to do reforms, but at the same time we are investing in order to make them stronger, to make them powerful, in order to be ready to govern Gaza and also West Bank.
يعني ردا على سؤالك أولا بالنسبة للخطة.
I answered your question. As for the plan has not been seen by anyone in details because we are waiting for the ministerial meeting tomorrow and the summit on next Tuesday. Hence, the plan is finalized, but we are waiting for it's reviewed by the Arab brothers in the summit before it's endorsed. Before we share it with any other foreign party, no. Foreign party can be informed about the details of the plan before it's endorsed by the Arab leaders on March 4. As for the second phase, as you mentioned, each party has to implement their commitments, and an agreement has been signed, and this agreement has to be implemented. This agreement includes full flow of the aids. It's never accepted to use the aids or the assistance as a weapon for collective punishment and starving. This is totally rejected. It's a flagrant violation of the international humanitarian law. Thank you. Another question, Mrs. Suzy Gnidi from Al-Ahram Al-Arabi.
Well, my question is for you.
سؤالي
what is the EU vision concerning the importance of the implementation? Okay. No problem, no problem. What is the EU vision concerning the importance of the implementation of the agreement, especially that Israel is trying or attempting to not to implement what it had already signed to, and not to go to the second phase of this agreement? And if I can ask about the new agreement, the Mediterranean agreement that you mentioned, both of you, what is the aim of this agreement actually? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. It's not new agreement, but it's new pact for Mediterranean, which means that it should involve all the countries around Mediterranean. This is the very reason why Ursula von der Leyen, our President of the Commission, decided to establish new portfolio, completely new portfolio on Mediterranean, to show that our focus is this part of the world. This part of the world is our neighborhood. We are close neighbors, and we want to be present here. We want to be players in the region. It's not only for Americans, it's not only for Gulf countries, it's also for Europe to be here. So we don't want to be only payers, we also want to be players in the region. And this is what we are trying to do with this new portfolio and with the new directorate which was established in order to be first entry for all the countries from this part of the world. So new Pact of Mediterranean will comprise, as I said, I will listen to all the countries, to all the capitals, and also to civil society, non-governmental organizations, to see what would they like to see in this pact. But this pact will be about bilateral strategic agreement. One we already have with Egypt, we have one with Tunisia. We signed 3 weeks ago one with Jordan, and we will go on. We will make tailor-made agreements, partnership agreements with different countries bilaterally, because, as you know, there is no regional approach to this. And we also want to attract European companies to come to this part of the world to invest, to develop, to open new jobs, to make, of course, build new infrastructure. And of course, by this we want to address root causes of migration, because we know how important migration is. Especially, I want to thank once again Egypt for hosting that many number of refugees, although you call them guests, which is very generous from your side. But we understand how important it is, and this is why we want to help you, we want to assist you, but we help each other. This is a win-win-win situation. It's not only to help Egypt, it's also to help Europe. It's about brain circulation, which was mentioned by Minister. I'm also in charge of demography, and this is also very important. It's all about brain, so-called brain gain. So we want to make people go here and there and back in order to bring knowledge, to bring expertise, to bring also capital to this country, and vice versa. On our vision, when you said that Israel is not sticking to the agreement, we hope that if the whole world, the Gulf countries are together, if we are here, if you as close neighbors are here, I think in the end there is no other way but to start negotiating. There is no other way than to create the situation for the two-state solution. All of us are for the two-state, but two-state solution cannot start without preconditions, and we are trying to make preconditions for this. And I think a good and excellent step in this is reconstruction of Gaza, and this plan which is envisaged by Egypt, but also together with Arab countries. We will also, I hope, once we see the plan, but we discussed it, I hope that we can work on this together. Thank you.
شكرا. سؤال أخير أستاذ محمد الخولي من بلومبرج الشرق.
محمد الخولي from Bloomberg, Middle East. My question is to His Excellency Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt. You mentioned in an official declaration that Cairo is rejecting any parallel government in Sudan, and Cairo is monitoring these movements. How dangerous do you believe these movements are, and how do you handle them? Another part of the question is for the Commissioner. Here we're talking about signing a pact or an agreement about food security that of a value of 90 million euros. Are there any agreements to be signed with Egypt, other agreements, and what are the sectors to be invested in?
On signing the agreement today, it was already agreed. Today it will be signed. It's about so it was already agreed, but today this agreement will be signed. It's about, of course, food security, about wheat. As you know, there is much more to come. What are the most important sectors? As already said, it's energy security also, but it's also water security, and I wanted to mention this because this is also important, because for Egypt water security is very important. So there are many different sectors. It's also about trade, so this is about trade agreements. So there is a lot to come under the umbrella of this partnership agreement which we signed last year. We also hope, what I said in my initial statement, we are looking forward to the companies which pledged, as I said, 49 billion euros, that they will come to this country, that there will be a one-stop shop for them to reduce the bureaucratic issues, and then they will come and be able to invest here. And this is what the Egyptian government, together with Minister and others, are working on. And this is very important to see the implementation of this pact. And I hope it will happen soon, because people won't pledge for 49 billion euros if they don't feel safe and secure. And we are working to get rid of all barriers in order for them to come and to invest here. And this is not vicious circle, but this is, as I said, a win-win-win situation for all of us. First of all, clean energy, decarbonization of the whole country, and decarbonization of the Mediterranean area. It's about opening new jobs, and it's about investing in this country. So I think it's for Egypt, that it will be valid for all the countries around the Mediterranean who want to engage with us as European Union, and I hope they will. Thank you.
يعني احنا الموقف المصري
As I mentioned, the Egyptian situation is clearly explained. Of course, Egypt supports the unity of Sudan, the stability of Sudan, and the Sudanese sovereignty over all the Sudanese territories. This is fixed in the Egyptian foreign affairs policy. Forming any parallel frameworks that may lead to the shattering of the Sudanese state. This is a red line for all of us. This is totally rejected. Of course, we are supporting the legitimacy, we are supporting the state, the institution of the state. We do not support people in their own capacity. We're supporting the state. It's a very important issue. We are communicating with all the parties concerned in order to transfer our points of view and our clear situation. We support the state of Sudan, the institutions of Sudan, and we are supporting Sudan in order to impose its sovereignty over all these territories. Thank you so much.